So, unser Mikrofon ist jetzt drauf, das heißt, die Aufnahme läuft, hier müssen wir unsere Stimmen jetzt mithören, das wird also im Stream, wird abgefilmt und da könnte dann irgendwann mal der Kollege Dings auftauchen, dieser Tunesier. Und da müsstest du dann mal diese Schlagzeilen da reinmachen. Ich komme aber dann zu dir und gucke, dass das klappt.
Ja. Kannst du es mir auch aus der Hand nehmen, wenn ich nicht schnell genug bin?
Ja, mach doch. Ja? Da ist jetzt der neue Screen oder ist das immer?
Das ist immer noch okay für Aufwärmen. Der untere Teil ist jetzt wieder Rennmodus.
Haben die jetzt das geändert oder was?
Das ist immer so.
Ja, okay.
Das war schon, seitdem es die Disziplin.
Das heißt, du kriegst dann jetzt hier irgendwann mal Stop Rowing?
Genau.
Den klassischen Ablauf wie bei einem Ergo.
Dann kriege ich ein Startkommando.
Okay.
Du musst dann nur sehr aufmerksam sein, weil es gibt keine akustische Begleitung.
Achso, die machen dann 3, 2, 1 nach oder was?
Are you ready? Attention.
Go.
Gehen.
Go.
Und dann steht da auf Deutsch gehen.
Okay.
Aber das kennen wir schon.
Jetzt scheint hier irgendwas zu passieren. Jetzt scheint diese Screen-Änderung passiert zu sein.
Ja, die switcht ab und zu mal
auf den normalen Modus oder was?
Zurück.
Ich sehe, ich habe hier mit Profis zu tun. Ist alles gut.
Wieder da, alles gut.
Alles gut. Bilder scheint es aber hier noch keine zu geben, ist aber noch kein Ton da, ne?
Of our all-star commentary team joining us from around the world too. We have Camilla Hadland joining us from London and Shane Farmer from sunny San Diego in the USA. Welcome, guys. There's loads to look forward to over the course of these 3 days, as I say. But I'd love to hear from you guys. Camilla, perhaps you can start off by telling us what you're looking forward to most over these 3 days of competition.
Gosh, there are so many races to look forward to, but actually even just the first race of the day, the quality that we've got in that PR1 women's category, the likes of Birgit Skarstein and Moran Samuel, I think it's going to kick the championship off in a really spectacular fashion. So looking forward to that. Also looking forward to the short, sharp 500-metre events. I think they're really exciting, nice, close racing, very fast and furious, Pete.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot going on, lots of different distances, age categories, classifications, and with it going virtual, Shane, what do you think this might mean for the future of indoor sport? Lots of opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely. And frankly, I'm excited to see where this can go in the virtual world. Having always been in the physical space and myself living in this virtual space, I'm excited to see this junction start to happen and start to see it take a bigger stage.
It's so exciting, and with that we're going to jump straight into the action. The first race is just a few moments from getting started. It's the men's and women's PR1 category. So Shane, Camilla, talk us through this lineup.
Thanks, Pete. Yeah, we've got a really exciting lineup. As I just mentioned, one of the events I've been most looking forward to all day today, and it's the first race on the programme. So great start here. We've got the PR1 men's category racing alongside the PR1 women's category. They're racing over 2,000 metres. A couple of names to pick out. We've got Romani Maya of Tunisia there, just sat on Ergo number 5 for that PR1 men's event, a really quick qualifying time of 7:43. So we'll keep eyes in the middle there of the screen of the men's PR1. Who are you looking at on the women's side, Shane?
So obviously Moore and Samuel coming in hot with some times here to look to. And, as we're watching these athletes sit and start to warm up, you can start to feel, you can even see their teams gathering around them as they're starting to get ready for this race. So it's fun to see where this is going already on this stage. And as you mentioned, what a way to lead off the day with this race and see how everybody's gearing up for it.
Yeah, definitely. And we're really lucky to have all of these images coming in from all around the world here. You can just see we've got people coming in from Thailand, Tunisia, Germany, Poland, the Republic of Korea, Mexico, Israel. Absolutely incredible to bring all of these people together and get an insight into their race strategy, where they're rowing, and what sort of environment they've got to compete in, Shane.
Yeah, truly. And you can see that the locations are widely varied everywhere that they are. Some look like they're in their homes, their attics, and gyms. This is just such a cool way to start things off. And I believe we're getting ready for this race to start here athletes getting ready to line up and kick off.
You can see there the graphic that all the rowers will be seeing on their screens, the stop rowing signal. That's what they'll see on their Ergo screens now to come to attention and get ready to row.
Attention.
There we go. Now we see all those boats starting to line up. You see those little boats dropping off of the stop rowing screen. That's going to tell you as each machine has actually wound down and has officially stopped on the software that is getting ready to run this race internationally. Once we see all those boats disappear, that will mean that the race can actually start.
So just waiting for the flywheels of those Concept 2 Ergos to stop spinning, which means that they're all ready to start the World Rowing Virtual Indoor Championships 2021, and we're underway. So as we see those first few strokes being undertaken, we've got 6 athletes on the screen that we're lucky to be sharing this race with. We'll be checking in with them just a little bit later down the course. But Shane, what is the most important thing to a good start here over these 2,000 metres?
Well, if you have been in this space before, you know that it is not won in the start. And that is an important piece to keep in mind when you're at this high level of competition, when you're coming into something like a World Championships. It's very easy to get excited and get ramped up with butterflies for the race. You want to make sure that you come into this with a nice steady start, being strong out of the gates, establishing your position, but knowing that you've got plenty in reserve.
Yeah, definitely, and that's something that the best of these athletes, the ones that we're going to see on the podium in just a few moments' time, they'll know exactly what rate and what pace to go off at in order to maintain their race strategy, especially if they're racing by themselves. Here, usually used to lining up alongside people in a gymnasium or in a stadium, but here they are individually in their own homes, sports gyms, gardens, you name it. And a great start there in the men's PR1 category for, well, we called him out before, Romani Meyer of Tunisia, a member of the Tunisian Paralympic team for the last couple of years. He's absolutely thrilled to have qualified for the first time here at the World Rowing Virtual Indoor Championships, having beaten an old world record in his category along the way. So we'll see how he fares. There's a close race going on behind him between another familiar name, Marcus Klemp, and Yehan Ha of the Republic of Korea.
Also der Tunesier hat hier laut Video 36.
Actually, Shane, in the women's PR1 category, leading the way.
Jetzt hat eine 34
yeah, not sure
auf dem
if you saw
Video.
there as we were watching Romani on that leaderboard, you were able to see his stroke rate coming out of the gate. He was coming out hot at a 44, which is now
Marcus,
leveled down to 37,
Alles im Griff.
well above the racket,
Bewusster Atemrhythmus.
above Marcus Klemp, right behind him, definitely trying to make a strong statement earlier on, and you can see him starting to, or trying to bump it back up there. It's definitely a strong strategy, taking that rate as high as he is when you look at the rest of the field, and we'll see if that pays off right now. Here we go, here's Romani stepping in at this 40 strokes a minute, keeping it high, keeping it quick and light.
And you can even hear on the microphone, it's fantastic that we've got these live images, because you can hear his breathing patterns, can't you, Shane, as he's breathing out at the finish, just to try and get the air circulating, to keep that oxygen pumping around. Nice, short, sharp strokes, he's staying nice and upright, but we're going to have to see if he's going to be able to keep it above that 41, 42 beats per minute right the way through to the line, right?
Yeah, and if we're looking at this leaderboard right now, you're seeing that split is actually coming in much closer range with Marcus Klemp there, who it looks like 32 meters back. He's probably trying to hold that striking distance, wondering if he's got something left in the tank to be able to just make a move when it's time, if and when he feels ready, and if he feels that when he puts that move on, if Romani's going to be able to battle back.
Well, I'm actually going to take us now to the women's race, where we've got a really tight race developing, and something that I think we would have seen coming, looking at the pedigree on paper of these women's PR1 category athletes. Birgit Skarstein, we've already talked about her, the 4-time world champion in this boat category on the water, very impressive on the indoor rower as well, but actually a really tight qualification time with Moran Samuel, another name that Shane picked out earlier, just 2 seconds exactly exactly
Oh
separating
nein, Quatsch,
these guys
Silvia
through
und
the
Manuela, doch
qualification
39 zu
pathway.
84 Metern,
And
okay,
Baran
also
Samuel
45
has actually
Meter Unterschied.
closed in another few meters whilst we've been talking.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this Birgit Moran back and forth, as you established with their qualifying times being so tight, we know that these athletes have the same capacity between them. And honestly, when you're talking about 2 seconds, well, at this level, tenths of seconds make a huge difference. Actually seeing that 2 seconds in qualifying times when they may not have been next to each other, you're never quite sure how it's going to pan out on race day. And as you mentioned, I think what we're seeing here is this really exciting race, this back and forth, this battle that's going to happen between them. Both of them knowing the caliber of the other athletes.
So, der Abstand nach vorne bleibt bei 32 Metern. Der fährt auch jetzt genauso schnell wie du, ist allerdings 10 Schläge höher.
Now coming underneath that 1,000-meter marker that signifies halfway. Some even closing in on 750.
Jetzt bist du schneller, er lässt nach, geht mit der Schlagzahl hoch. Das heißt, der kommt an die Grenze, der kann nicht mehr. Du bist jetzt 3 Sekunden schneller als er über 500. Jetzt bist du 5 Sekunden schneller.
On his tail and the ability to keep that into the final 500, that will be a hugely impressive race strategy if he knows they can pull this off, Shane.
Yeah, and we actually just saw Romani sitting in a 2-minute split, but Marcus Klemp dropping down to that 159.
Der Abstand ist bei 27 Metern, er fährt 2:02, du bist 3 Sekunden schneller. Wir machen noch nichts. Wir machen noch gar nichts. Der ist immer noch über 40, der kann nicht höher gehen, es geht nicht. Jetzt ist er bei 47, bei 51. Der überdreht es gerade völlig.
Starting to rise while Marcus Klemp starting to drive down. Let's see if he's got enough in the tank to make that difference up.
Well spotted, Shane. Look at that from Marcus Klemp from Germany. He's in second, but pulling up the meters. And if you look on the right-hand side of the screen there, you can see that he's ducked under 2 minutes per 500 meters. If you're joining us and you're not familiar to rowing, that number there on the very far right-hand side is
Weil alles, was danach kommt, ist nur noch ganz, ganz...
The lower that number, the better. And you can see now that Romani Maier is responding and trying to match the splits of Marcus Klemp, who you can see closing down the meters on his screen. A hugely tight race there. And I think we're going to see probably similar from the women's side coming into 500 meters. Only 8 meters still separating Birgit Skarstein.
Du bist da dran mit 13 Metern. Du hast ihm 20 Meter abgenommen. Der ist 7 Sekunden langsamer wie du.
Absolutely. Moran and Birgit starting to exchange blows on the split there. But Birgit able to respond. Anytime we see Moran drop it down.
So, der ist bei 48, 10 Sekunden langsamer. 8 Meter, du fährst da vorbei.
That comfortable lead coming into where we are, so we're going to see if she's able to hold her off. But as we get to the men's side, I think we're going to see that get close here. Things are going to get really exciting.
Du fährst vorbei.
As we watch the finish of this race come in.
Well,
du bist vorbei, komm!
The Thailand camp, that was Puyin of Thailand trying to charge from Jurad Wow of Thailand. They're just slipping off the back of the pace, but where the race really is, it's closing in, Shane. These leading 2 boats, only 5 meters now separating them. What a charge from Marcus Klemp going into 50.
Absolutely, 4 meters to go. Romani, you can tell, is feeling it and just doing everything he desperately can to push off Marcus. But it looks like Marcus is going to be able to make that push through inside that final 250. And there he goes. It looks like he has just overtaken the lead. And that's that exciting push, I think, that Marcus has been holding to. As a good racer, you sit back, you know that it's going to happen, and he knows that he's got that push to take this win as he crosses the finish line. 157 split, 0.3 seconds ahead of Romani Maier.
What a huge charge through that was there for Marcus Klemp. Amazing. 7:48.0 finish. We'll wait for all of these results times to be confirmed. We'll switch now to the women's race, where again Birgit Skarstein has managed to pull away. It was only 8 meters at 500 meters to go, but she's now pulled out to 26 meters ahead of Moran Samuel. Both of these competitors we've seen at the Paralympic Games, and I'm sure we'll be seeing competing at Tokyo later on this summer. It's Birgit Skarstein that comes out on top ahead of Moran Samuel this time around, but so close, and a great race had by all. We're going to see the last few competitors trickle in now across the board, and great that we can see this live footage of the reaction of all of these athletes coming to the end of what is such a huge physical challenge, Shane.
And you know that as they cross that finish line too, they're also looking at that leaderboard and memorizing the names that are there, because as you get into competition like this, you don't forget those people that are right on your heels. So wherever they are on the board, wherever they're landing and wherever they're coming in on their finish times, you know that they're memorizing who their competitors are, who the next rabbit to chase is going to be, and they're going to be able to walk away from today's race taking a look at where they need to set up their training for the future of their own racing and how they want to finish out their success.
Professional, Marcus! Woo!
What a way to conclude the first race of our 3 days of racing here at the 2021 World Road Virtual Indoor Championships presented by Concept 2 and our major partner Tencent Cloud International. Guys, what a race that was. Both the men's and the women's PR1 categories, a race right down to the line, just 0.04 of a second separating Marcus Klemp and Rahmani Maher. Very, very close stuff, but it set us up for a good day of racing, I would think. Now, let's have a quick look at some of the highlights from this first round of racing.
Der andere hat nochmal eine Kelle rausgeholt.
Sejong Kim here, PR1 women. So, for those not too familiar with the situation for PR1 rowing, that stands for para rowing. Para rowing 1 means that they're using a fixed seat because there may be an impairment with their trunk and or legs function. But this is Marcus Klemp, the winner of the men's PR1 category. He was trailing through the first part of the race, but then just pipped over the line by 0.04 of a second. Moran Samuel for Israel, and we just had it confirmed that there is a world record for the women's PR1 category. So in a moment, I'm sure we'll see that time confirmed. But Rahmani Maher here for the PR1 category, dominating performance from him, but just pipped to the line by Marcus Klemp. Camilla, great race on both sides of that men's and women's PR1 category.
Yeah, a great race on both sides, like you say, but the calibre, that's really set the bar for the rest of today's racing. Great for us to commentate on, really exciting racing, and let's hope we see more of that later on today and through the rest of the week.
Fingers crossed, fingers crossed. Well,